on ABC Radio Melbourne. You're with Richelle Hunt.
Well, a very first of its kind resource is about to empower a group of people that certainly need it. It's rare cancer patients. And as they fight for their lives, often knowledge is something that they don't have. So a knowledge database has been created by Rare Cancers Australia. And joining you to talk about that and to give you some more information, hopefully help you through it, is Richard Vines. He's the CEO of Rare Cancers Australia. Richard, welcome to Afternoons.
Thank you. Hello, Richelle.
So often when we talk about cancer treatments, technology, advancements, time and time again, someone that's living with a rare cancer shares a story that says, I don't know anything about my condition, my GP doesn't know anything about my condition, there's certainly not a lot of treatment, let alone information about my rare cancer. Before we get into this wonderful knowledge centre that you've set up, what defines a rare cancer and how many of them are there?
Well, the typical definition, the one that's sort of most commonly used around the world, is an incidence of 6 diagnoses per 100,000 population per year, which can be quite a lot. But we also have a category of super rare, which is between 1 and 2 diagnoses per 100,000 per year, which is kind of 2 people at grand final day. We've categorised on the knowledge base. We've categorised about 250, and it's growing. And what we're finding now is that common cancers like breast or lung have rare subtypes that are quite different and require different treatment regimes to the more common versions of those cancers. So we suspect the list is going to end up way beyond 250 by the time we're finished.
How difficult is it to diagnose a rare cancer?
Well, there are no screening tests. It's typically patients, all of our patients will say they were diagnosed 3 months, 6 months late, and early diagnosis with cancer is everything. That's the opportunity you have, and we encourage people, if they think there's something wrong and they've been given Panadol and sent home, that maybe they need to make a bit of noise, because if you get it early, that's your best option.
If you have sometimes the symptoms for cancer, nothing necessarily screams cancer. You never know what it is until you go there, and it's often a shock, whether it's a rare or not a rare cancer, that when you do receive, unfortunately, that diagnosis. How often, though, does it get misdiagnosed, or does the doctor, the GP, whoever it may be, the practitioner that you're seeing, not even pick up on it, not even know what the symptoms may be?
Often. It's the common story when patients come to us. As you say, that some cancers are really difficult to diagnose early before they've metastasised. The most accurate treatment is a scan, and if you get a scan, then you can see that there are hotspots, and those hotspots will be tumours, and that's where we would encourage more of that when people are suspicious. You need to be certain, because early diagnosis, as I said before, is everything.
So if the unfortunate happens and you do get a rare cancer diagnosis, up until the knowledge base has been created, how could somebody get information, or was there information?
Well, there has been information overseas. If you were determined enough, things like the National Cancer Institute in America had a directory of cancers, and there's a couple of those sort of directories in the UK as well. We've taken bits and pieces of those, and we've supplemented it with our own data and our own research, which I stress has all been checked and verified by clinicians. It's not me making it up. We've had some wonderful volunteer oncologists who've gone through anything that we've needed that we haven't been able to authenticate from other sources, and made sure that what we've got up there is valid and reasonable.
So how will the Rare Cancers Knowledge Base work? Like, what will be within, I guess, the portal? Yeah,
so imagine that you've been diagnosed with a cancer, for example, adrenal gland cancer. That's quite rare. So you can go into that portal, you can see a description of that. You can then, which will give you some understanding. And quite often people have got cancers that they're hard to even pronounce. So being able to read something about it is useful. You can then look at, we've done a survey of oncologists and asked them to identify those cancers, those rare cancers that they have a specific interest in. Typically, oncologists are all fundamentally scientists at heart, and they will have looked at somewhere in the country, somewhere in Victoria or somewhere in New South Wales, someone will have understood it and looked at it, and if they've told us, then that clinician will be linked to that cancer, and you can see whether you can identify people who have knowledge.
So other than identifying that, yes, that is what I have and all of those symptoms are correct, beyond that, is there a contact? Is there a way of speaking with people, whether it be online or on the phone? Or
for us, then every patient we encourage, we have a call centre, a support centre, which is staffed by experienced and trained people, and that's growing rapidly. They can come to us to discuss it and talk about it. We then refer to, we have resources also on the knowledge base are any clinical trials that are available for specific cancers, treatment centres. So we can sort of act as a navigating aid. And sometimes the most important thing we can be for a patient is just a voice on the other end of the phone that actually understands what they're going through. The other thing that we do is we do raise money for people who need treatments that are not listed on the PBS.
Well, how many of them would be listed? It would be, if it's rare, it would make it rare for it to be listed on the PBS.
One of our great challenges is getting more flexibility into the PBS so that they can list drugs and fund drugs for rare cancers. Right now, you can literally have the situation where you could have two twins. One was a melanoma patient, one was another rare skin cancer, for example, Merkel cell. And they could both be diagnosed on the same day, go to the same clinician, be prescribed the same drug. The melanoma patient will get it for $39 a month, and the Merkel cell patient will pay $10,000 a month. And that can't be right.
Oh, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, you just don't want to ever be yourself or love someone that is in that situation, and it happens all too frequently.
That's right. Well, when you accumulate all rare cancers, they're not rare.
No.
They account for half of all cancer deaths and a third of all diagnosis. And in very simple terms, if you're diagnosed with a rare versus a common, your chances of being alive after 5 years are less than half.
Richard Vines is with you, the CEO of Rare Cancers Australia. KnowledgeBase is what we're talking about. It's a portal that has been designed by Rare Cancers to try and give patients and their friends and family the information that is so often very difficult to find. Do you envisage now that it's been set up, that it will start to grow as people start to use it, more information is put in, that it will get bigger and better?
It will just keep growing and growing, and we're going to the medical oncologists have a conference in Adelaide at the start of August, and we're going over there to try and get them to complete the survey to tell us which cancers they're interested in, so we can build up that part of the knowledge. We're constantly talking to hospitals about their areas of expertise, and it will be an ongoing piece of work.
Some of the things that will be on there are not only information, like you said, about treatments, symptoms, definitions, but also a national list of hospitals and centres that provide care, health professionals, both individuals and teams that might be in your area, but as well as that financial service assistance as well. So they're all really big things. And I mean, you're already probably in a state of shock, and these are the things you need to think through.
The financial impact of cancer, typically, it's easy to understand. Typically the patient can't work, and the primary carer, who's typically a partner, also ends up having work terribly disrupted by just looking after the patient. So the sort of financial catastrophe. And it is so often so difficult for them. And so every utility, every bank, every credit card always has facilities, and there's lots of things you need to know, like how to access super, how to access life insurance, and we're increasingly building that part of the knowledge base.
If people would like some more information, if they would like to read about it, or if they want to contribute in some way, what's the best way of them going about that?
The best way is to go to rarecancers.org.au. And it's impossible to miss today because there's a big banner on the website which leads you to it. But normally you can just go to patient support. And please, if you want to contact us, it's contact@rarecancers.org.au, and all of that hits my desk. So it's pretty easy, and our phone number's on the website.
Congratulations. How long has this been in the making?
A little over 2 years. It's been a big, big project.
Yeah, well, big and important. So well done. Thank you. There's many people out there thanking you for creating this. Richard Vine, CEO of Rare Cancers Australia. It is called the KnowledgeBase. So you can just go to rarecancers.org.au to get some more information on that. Richard, thank you. Drive safe.
Thanks,
home.
Richelle.
The weather has turned a little bananas out there. Thank you for joining us.